Patreon Q&A number 30. Wow, it's been 30 weeks straight of these Patreon Q&As, and you guys have been supporting me all along the way, and I can't thank you enough for that. I literally wouldn't be here without you guys, so thank you so much, and I really do hope that the Q&A and just the Patreon in general is good enough to give back for all that you've given to me, because, man, you guys have given me so much, and I am unbelievably grateful for that. I just can't thank you enough. So everyone else listening, there's going to be potentially spoilers in these questions and answers, so tread carefully after this point. Natedawg asks, what's up, bro? I just wanted to say that even though you're having trouble with YouTube at the moment, we all still appreciate all that you do. I'm always excited through the week to get to watch your vids, and the hard times will pass though, so just keep pushing. Something that ticked me off is you get flagged for doing reviews on YouTube, but the entire episode of Season 2, Episode 1 is still allowed to be on YouTube. Doesn't make much sense to me, lol. My question is, whose luck is better, Mr. Satan or King? King has more individual feats, but Mr. Satan survived against Cell and Boo, and they are way stronger than any monster King has run into. And if Mr. Satan was in One Punch Man universe, would he take King's spot as the strongest hero? Take it easy, man. Hey, thank you so much for your continued support and the kind words, Natedawg. I really do appreciate it. So, in my opinion, King is, like, way stronger than Mr. Satan. Like, they're not even in the same league, honestly. I mean, if we're looking at luck versus luck, it's really debatable if Mr. Satan even has, like, a supernatural ability of luck, at least, in my opinion, I'll say. He definitely has the charisma factor going for him, similar to how King does, but even that is still not quite on the level of King. So, King, his power awakens, or allegedly, his meta luck awakens after his encounter with, what's Octopus Clawman, and he gets slashed. So after that point in the story, King is never touched again. Like, he's never touched by anyone. I mean, maybe, like, somebody from the Hero Association, like, physically touches him, but other than that, no monster does anything to him. But that's not really the case with Mr. Satan. Like, he gets hit by Cell, he gets hit by random people, he even gets shot. Like, he dies because he gets shot by that random Australian dude. So, like, this stuff would never happen to King. Like, no one would shoot King, no one would punch King. Like, they're all terrified of him, or they respect him to the nth degree. That's not really the case with Mr. Satan. Like, there's plenty of people who see through his facade. Like, and of course, all of the strong characters in the series, of course, see through Mr. Satan's facade. But in the One Punch Man world, even the strongest heroes and monsters respect King, and they are unable to see through essentially the facade that he has. They only see King as the strongest being in the world. And this is just because his charisma and luck are just so incredibly high that it's like warping reality. But it's not really the case with Mr. Satan. He has like an extremely watered down version of what's going on with King. I mean, even in Dragon Ball Super, Mr. Satan was wrecked by just like being collateral damage in that fight between, what was that Red Fox dude's name? I forget, when he's fighting Boo in the Zen exhibition. We got Bergamo was the blue one, Oregano, was his name Oregano? Bergamo, Basil. Oh, his name's Basil. Okay, Basil, the Red Fox dude. So, like, this would never happen to King. So, I really do think he's, like, leagues above Mr. Satan. If Mr. Satan was in the One Punch Man world, he wouldn't really make it that far, just in my opinion, at least. Gthaiger 798 asks, hey Z, did you watch the UFC 236? If yes, what did you think about it? If you created a monster in One Punch Man, what would his or her origin be? What drove them to maybe they ate fish too much and become a half fish person, or an example? Thanks for your hard work. Hey, thank you for your continued patronage, Gthaiger. I appreciate it, my friend. So I did see UFC 236. It was incredible, especially the co-main and the main event. Adesanya versus Gaston was amazing. One of the best fights I've ever seen. I think it's going to go down as one of the best fights ever, and so far, it's in my opinion at least, the fight of the year. Depending on what happens in the next 8 months, I think it might wind up being the actual fight of the year. That was amazing. You can't really ask for a better fight than that. Both guys putting it all on the line, all super well-rounded. Adesanya especially. The only thing that he's really missing from his arsenal is like a solid blast double, and then he's essentially like the most perfect fighter, or the most perfect complete fighter we have ever seen. Truly incredible what he was capable of. It was also cool to see Max and Holloway go, Holloway and Poirier go at it. Crazy fight as well. You know, just a really good event, especially from the co-main and the main aspect. But if I were to make a monster, I always thought it would be cool if there was like a glasses type of monster. Like, he started off as a hero or just a good person in general, and as he was training and becoming stronger, he found out that in order to become really strong, you have to come close to death and then survive it. Or come even closer to death than anyone else has and then come back from it. You know, what Giro is talking about in Chapter 92, and what we know about how to become significantly stronger and almost break your limiter in the world of One Punch Man. So the guy figures this out, and he keeps doing it, but inadvertently he's becoming more and more of a monster as he's doing this, and he's becoming more evil, but he's not really aware of it until it's too late. So he gets to this point where he's like super powerful, like maybe even above dragon level, but he's gone to the point of no return, so he's like really conflicted with himself. Like, he's inherently this good person, like a hero, but all of the power that he has gained made him somewhat evil in a way, and monster in his appearance. So he's like this real conflicted, torn character. I think that would be cool. Joseph K asks, what's up, Shonen? Let's say back at Chapter 94, when the heroes enter the abandoned zone, the Hero Association unbelievably gives Tatsumaki permission to just flip the entire Monster Association right from the start. Either because Waganma managed to escape, or they never found out that he was kidnapped. Assuming all the fodder get destroyed, so only the cadres and the demons that are left are able to face up against the S-Class, the surface team. What's your theory for who comes out on top? Essentially, all the manga versus one battles don't happen, and now it's a battle royale. Monster Association is going to have all their cadres plus Orochi immediately engaging, but to make it fair, let's say King and his team is there. Do the heroes have any hope? Orochi would just be casually firing off hundreds of death lasers, horns, and snakes, or would the heroes need the one we've all been waiting for to finally emerge? Poison! Finally showing us his true power by making a tiny cut in Orochi that kills him dead, or will he just go home? Have a super week, man. Hey, thank you for your continued patronage, Joseph K. It really means a lot, bro. So this is a good question, and I really would like to see Poison get a big win. I think that would be cool, because I don't know, in theory, his ability could kill anyone, I guess. I mean, I know that the stronger you are, the more resistant you are to poison, you know, similar to how it is in One Piece. And I'm sure that applies in most manga power scales in general, but I just want to see Poison do something of significance. He's a pretty cool character, and you know, we keep getting comical moments with him, so why not? But if this big battle royale were to happen, well, I guess Saitama isn't there, so we can count him out. I'm not really sure what you said about King, if they are actually there, or if not. But if we have like all of the heroes in this arc taking on all of the monsters in this arc, man. Well, I guess Garo isn't there either. But it would, I think, lean more towards the monsters winning this, because we know that Psychos knows Tatsumaki's weakness, so I think it's gonna, you know, it's eventually gonna come to the point of where she capitalizes on that. Like, that's her whole big plan, is to just catch Tatsumaki while she's on the offensive, so that her defense is down, and then she can bind her, just like how she did in the webcomic. But I think it's gonna change more towards Orochi just straight up beasting her. Or at least that's what Murata implied from the notes that he got from One. I mean, we really don't know what's going to happen at this point, but I think it's still going to happen. I mean, this was like a year ago that this was revealed, but I still do think that they plan on doing that. So based off of that, it looks like Orochi is like way too powerful, even for all of the S-Class heroes teaming up on him. Without the help of Tatsumaki. So if Tatsumaki goes down eventually, either from Psychos or Orochi, it's really not looking good for the heroes. I mean, of course, Darkshine and Flashy Flash and Bang by themselves could take down the executives if they really needed to, but I don't know, once we start getting into like Golden S territory, it becomes really difficult for them to win. They would need Tatsumaki to stay active like the whole entire time if they're going to have a chance to win. So if like Tatsumaki, Bang, Flashy Flash and Darkshine could all stay relevant in the fight, then they could possibly have a good chance of winning. But if one of them go down, especially Tatsumaki, they're likely all going to lose. Even like Abandonment Bang is probably going to succumb to just a vicious onslaught from all of the executives working together, similar to how we saw in the webcomic. Joshua M asks, hey Zhonin, so my first question today is for you is, what are your opinions on Dragon Ball Super? Personally, I found it really underwhelming near the ending. The only arc I'd hesitate in actually calling good would be the Universe 6 tournament. My second question for you today is, could you add more video tier suggestions? I love One Punch Man and I know people like My Hero, but there's only so much mileage you can achieve from those two franchises. I recommend adding more suggestion options for the $20 or higher patrons who'd like more franchises you're familiar with to talk about. And my final question for you today is for another analysis of another one of my One Punch Man creations. So I decided to create a mysterious being called Gthaiger. His origin is that he was an unlucky schmuck who accidentally hung himself in the back room of the convenience store he worked at after getting tangled by a bunch of wires. After that, he awakened and became a dragon-level monster called Gthaiger. He'd be a human similar to Homeless Emperor, but he'd have monstrous levels of strength and dexterity. He'd wield a spear he dubs Gungnir. He also rides a giant one-eyed crow he named Huggin. Just wanted some feedback for this, and if you hadn't guessed, I based this character off of the Norse god Odin. Gthaiger is one of the hundreds of names he gave himself. Hey, thank you for your continued patronage, Josh. I really do appreciate all that you do, my friend. Yeah, and I'll consider adding more tiers. It's just that in order for me to do that, I need to know that I'm going to make a product good enough for, the pledge that you're giving there. So that's why I only put My Hero and One Punch Man for now, because I know that I can give you guys a good enough product in exchange for what you're doing for me. But if I were to make like a One Piece video or I don't know, something else like that, I'd be a little worried about how good I can make it. Also, it would be a lot more work to go into those videos than what I would need for a One Punch and a My Hero, because I know pretty much everything off the top of my head. I know where I need to go to get information, or I already have the information in my head and I have a better understanding of how to make the video. But with like One Piece or Mob Psycho or other series like that, it would be a lot more difficult for me to make a really good video because it would take a lot more time. But maybe I'll add a Dragon Ball option, maybe a One Piece one too. I'm going to work on it, but Patreon's still a work in progress, and I'm just going to keep making it better as time goes on, so just bear with me for now. I know you want more from it, and more will come, but just in time it will. So I do like your OC character, and I was wondering the Gthaiger name. It sounds very familiar, but I guess it is Odin. That's pretty cool. I'd like to see something like that in One Punch Man more often. Like the Homeless Emperor type monsters that are pretty much just humans but have monsters' abilities and they are considered monsters. So I think that's pretty cool. Also, them like teaming up with other monsters, like how you say that he's riding the giant one-eyed crow named Huggin. We don't really see that too. We don't see like the monsters teaming up. Well, I mean, we do see them team up sometimes, but not like in the case of like one monster riding another monster. I think that would be cool. Like the only other significant example of teamwork that I personally remember, at least in the manga, was when Super Mouse like grabbed the unicorn and threw him like a spear. That was pretty cool. But if we have like a different dynamic where we have like a Homeless Emperor type guy riding like the giant crow from episode 1 of season 2, that would be pretty cool. So I like your OC character here. Keep up the good work with them. If you plan on doing anything with them, I suggest that you should do something, like, I don't know, write it or put it out there, or even make a YouTube channel. I mean, surprisingly, OC YouTube channels are successful randomly. Like, there's one Dragon Ball channel that, I'm sure there's a couple, but there's like one Dragon Ball channel that I know of that started off like with an OC character and he became huge, and he just made a whole bunch of what if videos. So, hey, go for it if you're interested in that stuff. But speaking of Dragon Ball Super, so my thoughts on it, it's definitely weak. It's really weak, especially if you're familiar with other series. Like, if you're just a fan of Dragon Ball Super and that's it, then hey, it's a masterpiece to you. But if you are aware of other series, battle manga, like One Piece, One Punch Man, My Hero Academia, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Hunter x Hunter, if you're familiar with all these shows, then you for sure know that Dragon Ball Super is extremely weak in comparison to them. It's almost like they really don't give a damn when they made this show. They were kind of just like, well, you know, people like Goku and all of them. We could just write however we want. We don't really have to put too much effort into this series because it sells itself. It's kind of like, I don't know, like a CBS comedy show, you know, like Big Bang Theory or something like that. Like, it's not really that well made, but it doesn't matter because it appeals to such a wide audience that it doesn't matter if it's good, because the people watching it, they're not really concerned with that. They kind of just want to see Goku and Vegeta fight people. It doesn't really matter if the story is cohesive or not, if that makes sense. So it kind of sounds like I'm hating on it, but I'm not. I like Dragon Ball Super just as much as the next guy, but I'm not in denial or delusional about its quality. It's not really that good. It's just fun. And that's what I think about it. It's just fun, and I enjoy the characters, but it really does suck that it's not really that well made when I think it could be. I mean, if you just put some good writers on it, it could be fantastic. But then maybe it would turn away its core audience because they don't want it to be like good the way that Hunter x Hunter is. They kind of just want it to be good enough for them to keep along. Like, people just want like a good cheeseburger to eat. They don't want like this super gourmet grass-fed burger. They just want something good to eat. They don't really care if it's well made. But my favorite arc, I guess, is the Tournament of Power. Of course, it's just as good as in any of the other arcs in my opinion, but I don't know. I really like the ending of Dragon Ball Super. I think they really hit the nail on the head with the ending. Like, one of the best endings I've ever seen for a battle anime series, which is surprising because I thought it was going to be a crappy ending where Goku just wins and that's it. Hey guys, look, all of this fighting just came down to Goku once again and everyone else didn't really do much. But the way that it ended was super good, super surprising, and I think it's going to start up again in July, so maybe they'll improve it, maybe not. Oh, we'll see what happens. Legandaryus asks, hey Zhonin, I've been having a hard time thinking of questions, so I was waiting for more updates to things I watch. The one question I have is, do you think that aliens will come to Earth to thank Saitama or someone else for defeating Boros? Hope you see this. It has been in the back of my mind for a while. Thank you for your continued patronage, Legandaryus. Really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for coming back. So this is really interesting because this would be good for the story, in my opinion, if something like this were to happen. So first of all, Boros was the dominator of the universe, so he's definitely messed with countless alien species, so it's very likely that at least one of them would come thank somebody for taking him down, because, you know, he had that much of an impact on the universe, at least it's implied that he did. And also, we have to remember that only Saitama and kind of Genos are aware of the existence of Boros. No one else on Earth knew about him. Maybe blasted, but it's super speculative at that point. And then Saitama just kind of tells Genos that Boros existed, kind of. So if some aliens were to come looking for the person that defeated Boros, it would let everyone know that, hey, Boros existed and he was really close to destroying the entire Earth, and that somebody took care of him. And it would eventually get to the point of where, I don't know, people think it was King, I guess, because, you know, the way things are in the One Punch Man world. But then I'm sure there would be some people who would figure out that it was Saitama, because the aliens would probably describe who it was. And they'd be like, oh my god, it was Saitama that defeated him? And I think that would be a pretty cool aspect. It also gives the possibility of, I don't know, more people coming because they want to avenge Boros in a way, possibly. You know, it could be two sides of the coin, like some come to thank for the defeat of Boros, and some are angry about the defeat of Boros, and we get more Boros level guys coming. I mean, that would be kind of cool, although it would just be a whole bunch of aliens invading Earth, and that would be kind of convenient to the plot. But I think the question that you raise here is more interesting because, I don't know, it opens up a whole new aspect to the One Punch Man world that is just out there waiting to be touched upon. Raul M asks, yo, Big Z, did you get to see the Max versus Dustin fight, and what did you think of it? I thought it was amazing. Hey, thank you for your continued patronage, Raul. I really do appreciate it, bro. So, yeah, of course I saw that fight, and it was amazing. I personally liked the Adesanya versus Gastelum fight more, but the Max versus Dustin fight was still amazing. I was really surprised that Dustin was able to compete the way that he was. I mean, Dustin is skilled, of course, but he really rose to the occasion here. You can really tell that he put in some serious work for this fight against Max, and it showed because he was, you know, throwing that heavy volume in the beginning, which usually gasses people out. but he was able to somewhat maintain that consistency throughout the fight. Now, in round 2 and round 3, he did look like he was slowing down, but that could have just been to conserve his gas tank, because it is extremely difficult to throw bombs for 25 minutes. I mean, it's hard to throw bombs for like 3 minutes, but the fact that Dustin kept doing it was really impressive. I really thought Max was going to win coming into this fight, because on paper he is much better than Dustin. But, we have the other variables, like Dustin appeared to be not much bigger, but he was definitely bigger than Max. Dustin hitting way harder than Max, which I assumed coming into this would be the case, but it seems like Max's power that he had at featherweight doesn't really transfer over to lightweight, because Dustin was taking his shots no problem. Of course, he was rocked at times, but if anybody else in lightweight was landing on Dustin the way that Max was, I think he would have probably wilted from those shots. I mean, some of those combinations were landing really crisp and clean. Like when he would do a cross, or just like a jab cross to the face and then land it up with like a left shovel hook to the body. Like, that's a devastating combination that was landed cleanly. And if it was somebody with more power, I think Dustin might have went down. But, still props to Dustin for being able to take that beating. But Max, too. Max took a savage beating in that fight. And it's really impressive that he wasn't going down from that. He only went down once, but it was really quick. I think that might have been the only time that Max was actually knocked down in a fight. He was thrown off balance. I don't know exactly if he fell down, but still, I'm super impressed by Dustin. I didn't think he was going to be able to pull it off. And I guess he goes against Khabib now. And I don't know what's going to happen per se up until that fight, but if it does happen, I really do think Khabib is just going to beat him as he's beaten everyone else. Take him down, grind him out. I don't think Dustin is good enough to survive that kind of onslaught from Khabib. But I really want to see Khabib versus Tony Ferguson, but I don't think we're going to get that fight, unfortunately. Steven asks, Buongiorno, what do you think would happen if Evil Natural Water got transported into the My Hero Academia world? Who would you cast as the new Batman? I'd be fine with Oscar Isaac, because I'm still bitter that Bane was played by a white guy. Do you think Sneck will resign soon and join the Neo Heroes? I foresee so much story potential for the A and B class heroes, especially if they start taking orders from McCoy. He'll probably play up their resentment and use them to discredit the Hero Association like he tried to do with the police. What do you think would happen first? The Uprising will run into Saitama or into Blast? Keep up the good work. Thank you for your continued patronage, Steven. I'm not sure if that's a JoJo reference or not, because I know that you give me the multi-ethnic greeting, so thank you, my friend. So if Evil Natural Water was transported into the My Hero world, he would be probably the strongest threat that has ever been in that world. I mean, he survived a punch from Saitama, so it's going to take a lot to really take him down, and it would require like all of the heroes working together in the My Hero world to even begin to take the Evil Natural Water down. And even then, he would be killing a lot of them, because like his one water stream would just shoot them like machine guns and just easily kill most of them. It would come down to like, maybe even the Nomus from Dr. Yujiko, the high-end Nomus, they would maybe have to come in to take care of him too. Maybe the League of Villains would have to join in to take this guy down. I think they could get the job done for sure, but they would all need to work together. Depending on if all the heroes and the villains, but for sure one or the other, especially the heroes, all have to come together and have some serious teamwork to take down the Evil Natural Water. He's crazy powerful, and he has like the water regen, and he become bigger. He would just be a serious threat for that whole world. So the new Batman, I saw that a potential candidate could be Jon Hamm, the guy from Mad Men. He's also from Baby Driver. But I really like Jon Hamm. I really enjoyed that show, Mad Men. I drew a lot of parallels to Jon Hamm's character in that show. And he just, he has like that good Bruce Wayne, white guy with dark hair look to him. And I'm sure he can get in shape to be Batman too. I mean, anyone could. You just run him through a test cycle and they'll be good to go. Oscar Isaac would be cool. That would be different. But hey, let's have a black guy too. What about Black Batman? Have like Idris Elba as Batman. That would be pretty sick. So I do think Sneck is going to resign. I'm not sure if he's going to bring the other A-class and B-class heroes with him, but I wouldn't be surprised. because after what he found out from Child Emperor, he would just run to all the other A-class and B-class heroes like, hey guys, they're screwing us all over. They're making us run in circles. Let's bounce out of this place and go join the new kids on the block at the Neo Heroes. And then, of course, McCoy will probably manipulate them further from there. Like you said, so many possibilities for this arc. I really can't wait to see where it's going. It's already getting so good, and nothing has really happened yet. We've just seen who is, what side is picking their teams and whatnot. So, man, just looking forward to it so much. And I think that they'll run into Saitama before Blast. Not really sure what's going to happen with Blast in its arc, but I assure you that Blast is going to reveal himself in this arc. It's no coincidence that they are talking about him so much. Like, we got the flashback of Tatsumaki in the beginning of the arc, and then we saw Child Emperor talking about Blast in Chapter 107. So Blast is definitely going to show up, and I'm for sure thinking that he is going to be on the opposite side of this war here. At least I hope he is. Wolf Pup asks, oh great wise master Zhonin, the wolf would like to humbly ask you a sexy question. Okay, so do you have a favorite laptop? Please explain and why. Because I own a Toshiba laptop and bought it online on Best Buy, or I think it was on eBay. I'm thinking of buying a Google Chrome laptop, like in a couple of years maybe, I don't know. I have a computer at home, but I never used it like forever. Second question, Bug God in his 6-arm mode versus Hydrated Deep Sea King. Thanks a million. May the power of King be with you. Thank you for your incredible continued patronage, Wolf Pup. You know I love you so much. So I only have one laptop, and it's a Chromebook from Asus. I really like it. It kind of doubles as a tablet as well. I do plan on getting a much better laptop so I can travel and work on YouTube at the same time. At least that's the plans that I have in the future. And I'm probably just going to get a bigger and better Chromebook, something that can just essentially run like a desktop but as a laptop. I've never owned a Toshiba, but from the reviews that I've seen, they're not too bad. They're pretty good. Laptops are kind of tricky because it really doesn't depend on the price. Like, of course, if you spend a lot of money on it, you're going to get a good one. But you just really got to look at the specs and specifically what you're looking for. But I'm sure you know all about that stuff. But yeah, I'm more so like desktops. Like, I have a pretty sweet desktop right now, like with an ultra-wide monitor and stuff. And I really enjoy it. It makes working so much easier. But laptops are essential as well. Because like I said, I need to get a really good one soon. So, Bug God, 6-arm mode versus Hydrated Deep Sea King. Well, Hydrated Deep Sea King, way faster than him. There's no doubt about that. But I don't know if he could be strong enough to damage him. Because we saw Garo, when he fought Deep Sea King in his base mode. Garo was probably a low dragon at that point. I mean, it was after his encounter with Bang Bomb and Genos. And he was already a high demon pushing low dragon at that point. So we can assume that after he had recovered from that, it was very likely that he was low dragon at this point. He even had the one red eye and the red hair. So that was almost like a signifier of his transformation. So, that Garo couldn't hurt Bug God in his base form. And Bug God hurt him. So I'm assuming that 6-arm Bug God is significantly more powerful than that. Well, not significantly, but, a lot more powerful. So I'm guessing that he would be able to overcome Hydrated Deep Sea King at that point. His durability is not bad, although he did get mollywopped by the Genos, pre-G4 Genos, with that huge blast to his face. So I'm assuming that 6-arm Bug God would be a little too much for Hydrated Deep Sea King, although I'd love to see the fight play out. I just don't know if he could hurt him, because that's like his whole thing. He's like a big, tanky, durable monster carapace. So, I don't know. Just off the top of my head right now, I think 6-arm Bug God would be too strong. Zapphod B asks, hi Zhonin, I hope all is going well with you. In honor of his appearance in the anime, I wanted to ask you a question about Tongue Stretcher. So what do you think is stronger, his licky licky tongue attack or Suckingal's big shot beam? Thanks Zhonin, stay awesome. Hey, thank you for your continued patronage, Zapphod. I really appreciate it, bro. This is a great question. I really like this one. And if I didn't already have that King versus Mr. Satan question, I probably would have had this as the title of the video. I'm thinking Suckingal's big shot beam is stronger, but not by that much. It didn't really do much to that one fodder. You know, but it still did something, I guess. And I don't know, I'm not really sure how strong Tongue Stretcher's Licky Tongue attack is. I think Tongue Stretcher is wolf. Yeah, he's definitely a wolf. I'm for sure think he was confirmed to be that. And Second Gall is definitely a wolf as well. Just taking a guess. I don't think he's Tiger level. So I'm going to say the Big Shot Beam is likely more powerful, but it's really debatable. And I think if Second Gall went against Tongue Stretcher, it would be a super competitive fight. And I'm not sure who would win that. Like, maybe Tongue Stretcher could deflect his Big Shot Beam with his tongue. I'd really like to see it, and I hope someone listening out there is able to draw this fight, because I'd love to see it. My granny asks, hey sweetie, I hope you're getting plenty of rest. I'm so proud of you and your success of being a content creator. Anyways, I'm just here to say that Elder Centipede will be CGI. Mark my words. That's all for now, but don't be afraid to call or visit every once in a while. You know Grandma loves you. Hey, thank you so much, Granny. I appreciate so much the support you're giving me. Thank you for looking out for me. I appreciate that, you know, you're on the Patreon doing a service to your grandson. And I'm really surprised that you're up to date on One Punch Man, at least the anime. You know what's going on, so that's pretty cool. The CGI Elder Centipede, I think he looks already CGI in the intro. I paused it and tried to look at it the best that I could, and it was kind of difficult to tell, but the way that he was moving at 60 frames per second, and the other characters only seem to be moving at 30. I'm just taking a guess here. I don't really know my stuff like that. I'm just guessing. But based off of that, I'm assuming that he's CGI. And also, if Murata had a really difficult time drawing Elder Centipede, from what I remember, Murata said that he despised drawing Elder Centipede just because of how difficult and time consuming it was. I'm assuming that the animation studio working on this, JC staff or whoever else is helping them, is probably feeling the same way, just animating this monster. So I'm guessing he's just going to be CGI. Also, in Dororo, the anime that's currently, or it was airing, I don't know if it is, they have a huge centipede in that series too, and he was CGI. So I'm guessing they're going to do the same thing here. But I think they'll do it well regardless. You know, and then again, I kind of have rose-colored shades on when I'm looking at One Punch Man Season 2. But hey, thanks again, Granny. Petite Feet asks, who's your favorite Game of Thrones character and why is it Jon Snow? Thank you for your patronage, Petite Feet. So it's hard for me to pick one favorite character in a series like this. I mean, it's just hard for me to pick favorite characters in most series. So I mainly just have a group of characters I really like, and Jon Snow is definitely one of them. I mean, he's really likable, well-made character, kind of relatable almost. But the group of characters that I really enjoy is Tyrion. I like Varys. Arya is really cool. Daenerys, I really like her. Bronn, I think he's great. I liked his little moment that he had in the new episode. And Jamie, of course. I really like all those characters. So that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Once again, I want to thank all 78 of my incredible patrons. Guys, you are helping me out in a really difficult time, and I just can't thank you enough. Things will get better. You just gotta, bear with me here, and we'll just work through it. And I can't thank you enough. And everyone else listening, if you would like to be in the next Q&A, just check out my Patreon. The $5 tier will give you access to this video that I do every week. Also, if you like the video, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.